From the very beginning of time, humanity has been drawn toward forces it cannot see, often believing that shortcuts to power, control, or desire will bring lasting fulfillment. Yet, as Florence Scovel Shinn often reminded her readers, whatever a person sends out into the world returns to them multiplied, and nothing built on fear, manipulation, or darkness can bring true success. So as you listen now, allow yourself to be fully present, because this message may be the turning point your spirit has been waiting for. Imagine the listener inside you leaning forward, curious, open, and ready to awaken to a truth that many overlook, that black magic, no matter how tempting it appears in moments of weakness, always leads to consequences far deeper and more painful than what the eye can see. For every action rooted in negativity creates a chain reaction that eventually circles back, touching the life of the very person who initiated it. People who engage in black magic often believe they are gaining control, that they are bending life in their favor, but in reality they are binding themselves to a cycle of fear, disturbance, and spiritual imbalance. This world is governed by divine laws, and when one attempts to manipulate these laws for personal gain, harm, or revenge, the universe responds in ways that are firm, corrective, and undeniable. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that life is like a boomerang. Whatever you throw out returns with astonishing accuracy. When someone chooses black magic, they are throwing out fear, doubt, envy, and harm. And life returns these energies in unexpected and often painful forms. It may show up as relationships falling apart, finances collapsing, mental unrest, or even a sense of being haunted by one's own decisions. The person may feel trapped in a fog of negativity, unable to understand why everything seems to go wrong around them. But deep within, the soul knows. The soul always knows when it has stepped off the path of divine alignment. You may have seen people who dabble in such practices hoping for love, hoping for revenge, hoping for shortcuts, and yet the very things they chase begin to crumble like sand slipping through their fingers. That is because black magic is not a tool of empowerment. It is a chain that binds the user to heavier energies, draining their spirit and dimming their inner light. And even when the consequences are not immediate, they are always certain, for no one can escape the spiritual laws that keep the world balanced. In moments when life seems unfair, some individuals convince themselves that turning to dark practices is the only way to regain control. But Florence would say, "What you ask for, you must prepare to receive through rightful means, for nothing forced will ever stay." And that is the truth black magic users fail to see. Even if they temporarily receive something they desired, it cannot stay, because anything gained through force, manipulation, or harm dissolves once the false energy behind it collapses. They may feel powerful for a time, but it is a fragile power, a borrowed energy that demands payment far greater than expected. And as the consequences unfold, the user finds themselves surrounded by fear, paranoia, emotional instability, and a growing sense of spiritual emptiness. The universe gently but firmly dismantles everything built on that negative foundation, not as punishment, but as correction, guiding the soul back to a higher path. So as you listen, let your heart open to a deeper awareness. Real power does not come from manipulating others or bending energy in selfish ways. Real power comes from alignment, clarity, faith, and the divine flow of right thinking. It comes from trusting that the universe has perfect timing and perfect justice. When a person walks in the light, they become unshakable. When they walk in darkness, they become weakened by the very shadows they tried to command. This message is not to create fear, but to bring awakening, clarity, and strength to anyone who has ever felt tempted by shortcuts or the illusion of control. Remember, you are meant for a life of freedom, not bondage, for a life of peace, not disturbance. And in this moment, simply by listening, you are choosing awareness over ignorance, truth over illusion, and light over shadow. There comes a point in every seeker's life when they must decide whether they will walk the path of spiritual truth or allow themselves to be drawn into the illusions of fear and control. Those who choose black magic rarely realize that they are stepping into a web that grows tighter with every intention they send out. Florence Scovel Shinn often taught that the universe works through the law of vibration, and whatever vibration you hold becomes the very magnet that draws experiences toward you. When someone uses dark practices, they lower their vibration to match the energy of the act itself, unknowingly inviting chaos, uncertainty, and spiritual decay into their life. They may believe they are controlling destiny, but destiny shaped through darkness is always temporary, unstable, and destined to collapse. You can never hold on to what is not rightfully yours, and nothing gained through manipulation can stay in your possession for long. When a person indulges in black magic, they create an invisible debt with the universe. This debt is not financial or material. It is a spiritual imbalance, a disturbance in the natural flow of energy. It begins subtly: restlessness at night, constant fear of being watched, sudden anger, or a feeling of being disconnected from one's own soul. As time passes, these disturbances expand like ripples in a pond, affecting relationships, work, health, and emotional well-being. The person begins to live in a state of self-imposed darkness, even if they pretend on the outside that everything is fine. Life becomes filled with unexpected setbacks, broken trust, and a lingering sense of emptiness that no achievement can fill. And yet they continue seeking control through the same dark methods, unaware that each attempt ties them further into the very trap they hope to escape from. Florence would say that life always mirrors your inner beliefs and intentions. If one sends out harm, harm returns. If one sends out fear, fear returns. And when a person uses black magic, they are declaring to the universe that they do not trust divine timing, divine justice, or divine protection. This declaration creates a separation between them and the higher guidance that could have brought them peace. Instead of standing in faith, they choose force. Instead of choosing love, they choose fear. Instead of choosing surrender, they choose control. And the universe responds by placing obstacles, delays, and discomforts in their path until the soul finally learns the lesson it resisted. These consequences are not meant to destroy, but to teach, to remind the soul that power gained through darkness is not power at all. It is bondage disguised as authority. Those who have walked this path know that the consequences extend beyond the physical world. Their intuition weakens, their confidence fades, and their emotional balance becomes fragile. They may feel a constant presence of negativity around them, unable to understand why their inner peace has vanished. This is because black magic disrupts the natural connection between the individual and the divine. It clouds the mind, disrupts the heart, and lowers the spirit. And once the spirit is weakened, the person becomes vulnerable to fear, anxiety, jealousy, and despair, energies that feed the very darkness they attempted to command. Florence often wrote that fear is only faith misplaced, and when someone invests belief in dark forces, they feed those forces with the power of their own imagination. What they fear grows stronger. What they resist becomes more persistent. But here lies the deeper truth. No soul is ever beyond redemption. The universe is merciful, patient, and always ready to restore anyone who chooses to return to the path of light. The moment a person realizes the consequences of their dark intentions and decides to let go, the divine laws begin to work in their favor. Their spirit slowly regains strength, their intuition brightens, and life starts to open new doors. It may take time, but the shift always begins the moment they choose alignment over manipulation. The universe rewards those who seek truth, peace, and harmony, even if their past was filled with mistakes. Every sunrise is proof that no darkness can last forever, and every new decision holds the power to rewrite destiny. Ultimately, black magic teaches a painful but powerful lesson, that nothing is stronger than the light within, and nothing can uplift a person more than choosing faith over fear and divine alignment over deceptive control. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the truth becomes impossible to ignore. A moment when the consequences of one's actions rise like a mirror, reflecting exactly what has been sent into the world. Florence Scovel Shinn often said that the game of life is played with invisible forces, and the strongest of these forces is the vibration of intention. When a person engages in black magic, their intentions vibrate at a level that invites disorder, fear, and confusion into their life. They may believe that harming another will bring them relief, or that forcing circumstances will give them the life they want, but the universe does not operate on force. It operates on alignment. And when someone acts against this alignment, they create a spiritual imbalance that must eventually return to harmony, often through uncomfortable lessons. The one who sends harm is the first to breathe it, because nothing dark can be contained. It spreads, it circles, and it seeks the one who set it in motion. As time passes, the individual who has practiced dark methods begins to feel a heaviness that cannot be explained. Their thoughts become clouded, their emotions unpredictable, and their inner peace disappears. They may find that trust evaporates from their relationships, opportunities slip through their fingers, and unexpected losses become a pattern in their life. These are not punishments, but reflections, reminders that the divine laws are always active, always balancing, always restoring what has been disturbed. The person may attempt to escape these consequences, blaming fate, blaming others, or blaming circumstances, but the truth remains. They are experiencing the echo of their own intentions. and deep within, their spirit knows that the energy they sent out has returned, not to destroy them, but to awaken them. Florence taught that every soul is born with a spiritual compass that points toward truth, love, and divine order. But when someone engages in dark practices, that compass becomes clouded, leaving them wandering through emotional storms without direction. They may experience sudden fear, unexplained sadness, or an inner emptiness that grows quietly day by day. These feelings are signals from the soul, urging them to release the darkness they have embraced and return to the light that has been waiting for them. For no matter how far someone has strayed, the divine always leaves a path open, a path of redemption, clarity, and healing. The universe is infinitely patient, allowing each soul to learn at its own pace, to awaken when it is ready, and to rebuild through new choices. Many people believe that once they have engaged in black magic, their destiny is sealed, but this is not true. Florence's teachings remind us that any moment can become a miracle moment, a turning point where the soul decides to choose differently. When a person lets go of darkness and steps into faith, something remarkable begins to happen. The fear that once controlled them slowly fades, their intuition strengthens, and new opportunities emerge as if drawn by an invisible magnet. The spiritual imbalance begins to dissolve, replaced by a sense of peace that grows deeper with every positive intention. This transformation does not erase the past, but it brings healing, clarity, and a renewed relationship with the divine laws that govern life. And once a person aligns with these laws, even the most painful lessons become foundations for a wiser, stronger future. So as you listen to these words now, let them remind you that life always responds to intention. The energy you choose today becomes the reality you experience tomorrow. When you send light, you receive light. When you choose faith, you receive guidance. When you act with integrity, the universe opens doors you did not even know existed. And when you trust in the divine order, rather than seeking shortcuts through darkness, life unfolds in ways far more powerful and fulfilling than anything fear could promise. You are not meant to walk in shadows. You are meant to walk in clarity, confidence, and spiritual strength. The consequences of black magic may be real, but so is the power of awakening, transformation, and spiritual return. And the moment you choose the light, the universe moves toward you with grace, ready to support your highest path and your greatest growth.